The public servant to encourage participation of people. To attitude of public servant to encourage participation of people in decision making process and delegate authority to other members of the team is called attitude public servant to encourage participation of people in decision making process and delegate authority to other members of the team is called democratic attitude. It involves values like compassion, transparency, accountability, tolerance, responsiveness, etc. In democratic country like India, it is necessary for the administration to adopt a democratic approach for giving service and according to the needs of the citizens. Encourage participation of people in decision making process. Delegate authority to other members. Participation of peoples. Encourage in decision making process and delegate authority to other members of the teams. Called democratic attitudes. It involves values like compassion, transparency, accountability, tolerance, responsiveness, process, and delegate authority to other members of the team is called democratic attitude. Delegate authority to other members of the teams. In a democratic country like India, it is necessary for the administration to adopt democratic approach for giving service according to needs of the citizens. Giving service according to needs of the services. Made of democratic attitude or it ensures participation people governance in governance. It ensures participation people in governance. It improves effectiveness of public service delivery. It is according to the felt needs of the people. It improves effectiveness of public service delivery. It allows flexibility in program and designing and implementations. It is allow flexibility in program. Limited and democratic attitude. Since it involves wider consultation, so it may be time consuming. May be time consuming. It becomes difficult to arrive at wide consensus on certain issue. It slow down decision making process. Difficult to arrive at wide consensus on certain issue. Since it involves wider consultations, time consuming. It allows flexibility in program designing and implementation. So, India, students should contest elections. Election contest करना पड़ेगा. Save countries and winning in the parliamentary elections, MLA elections. 4,000 MLA उसमें से 3,000 3,000 तो स्टूडेंट्स होना चाहिए, किसान स्टूडेंट्स, गरीब स्टूडेंट्स एंड 750 से 500 MP तो कम से कम इंडिपेंडेंटली इंडिपेंडेंट देश को बचा सकता है, स्विस बैंक से पैसा ला सकता है. Since it involves wider consultations, it may be time consuming. It becomes difficult to arrive at wide consensus on certain issue. Actually, since it involves wider consultation, it becomes difficult to arrive at wide consensus on certain issue. It slows down decision-making process, limit of democratic attitudes. Slow down, it becomes difficult to arrive at wide consensus on certain issues. Since it involves wider consultations, so it may be time consuming. Wider consultations, time consuming. It allows flexibility in program designing and implementation. Flexibility improves effectiveness of people service delivery. Effectives as it according to the felt needs of the people. Actually, स्टूडेंट्स क्यों हमेशा पढ़ रहे हैं, देश के बारे में राजनीति कोई नहीं कर रहा है. राजनीति सबके ऊपर हर वक्त होता है, मगर कोई सब राजनीति से भाग रहे हैं. स्टूडेंट्स नौकरी के लिए भाग रहा है, मगर नौकरी बेचा जा रहा है. स्टूडेंट जब राजनीति करेगा नौकरी उसके पास आएगा और नौकरी निकलेगा. बैकलॉग बूढ़े लोगों को निकाला जाएगा. स्टूडेंट्स ज़्यादातर नौकरी में आना चाहिए. उसके साथ राजनीति में भाग लेना चाहिए। आम आदमी किसान को, किसान जब MP MLA बनेगा, वोट भारत में सिर्फ पार्टियों को देते हैं, पार्टियों बर्बाद होना चाहिए और इंडिपेंडेंट कैंडिडेट ज़्यादातर बढ़ना चाहिए। पार्टी जब जीरो पे आएगा, इंडिपेंडेंट कैंडिडेट जब सारी MP MLA सीट जीत लेगा, किसान, गरीब, स्टूडेंट्स, तब जाके देश में डेमोक्रेसी आएगी। एवरी कंट्रीज democracy will comes. Is it possible to balance the two to create a better administration for the faster development of our countries? Balance the two, better administration for the faster development of countries. Yes. Demarcating separate areas. In certain areas of governance, we need. Is it possible to balance the two to create a better administration for the faster development of our countries? Yes, it is possible to balance the two. Demarcating separate areas. In certain area of governance, we need democratic attitude of a bureaucrat. In other areas, we need bureaucratic attitude. This should be demarcated areas having larger public interface. Require democratic attitude, like in case of field posting, where areas that require quicker decision making need bureaucratic attitude, like in day-to-day functioning of administration at higher levels. Laying down of guidelines with provision for flexibility. Guidelines and standard operating procedure should be issued at a macro level, while at micro level these should be provision for flexibility. This will ensure bureaucratic attitude at macro levels and democratic attitude at micro levels. So both of these can be balanced for creating better administration for faster and inclusive development of the country. Actually, guidelines and standard operating procedures should be issued. Okay, while macro level these should be provision for flexibility. This will ensure bureaucratic attitude at macro level, democratic attitude at macro level. No, no. In certain area we need democratic. We need bureaucratic attitude. This should be demarcated. Areas have larger public interface require democratic attitude, like in case of field postings. The areas that require quicker decision making need bureaucratic attitude, like in day-to-day functioning of administration at higher levels. In context, in the context of